real treat for you. A true story that captivated the entire nation, and one that has never been officially solved in the eyes of many citizens of this country, and certainly not in the eyes of many in this community. On the night of February 24th, 1942, over what is perhaps the largest city in our country, Los Angeles, California, there was an air battle that raged for hours into the next morning. Although dubbed the Battle of Los Angeles in the media, officially, the battle never actually happened, according to military and government sources. Even the damaged buildings and dead civilians were not enough to sway the government's position. Even though sirens wailed up and down the west coast of California, giant searchlights filled the night sky and spotted strange objects flying around at speeds up to 200 miles an hour. During the battle, over 1,400 12-pound anti-aircraft shells, along with countless numbers of 50 caliber ammunition shells, were fired at these targets in the air, with eyewitnesses claiming that there was also return fire originating from the aircraft aimed at the ground-based defense centers. The next day, the military gave an official recounting of the story as being due to nerves because of the war and misidentified weather balloons. It was even reported in one newspaper that an aircraft was down on Vermont Avenue in Los Angeles and that flying objects in the sky were witnessed by thousands of people, yet the official story remains that of nerves and weather balloons. That night, local air traffic controllers recorded objects of unknown origin traveling at speeds up to 200 miles per hour, which, in my opinion, are some hella fast weather balloons. But interestingly, not a single American aircraft was scrambled that night. In a battle that raged for hours over the largest city in the country, the United States military never once put a single airplane into the air. I can only imagine that you find this as odd as I do. I find it extremely hard to believe that the US military failed to put at least one aircraft in the sky to survey the situation from above or to gain some type of insight as to what they were up against. But this is the official story. According to eyewitness accounts, the objects were seen in the sky were not so much aircraft but UFOs. In some of the photographs taken that evening, when you reverse the gamma, you can clearly see that some of the objects were classic UFO-shaped or round spherical objects, much like Foo Fighter type craft. Still, according to all official government accounts, the only objects in the air that night were weather balloons. And of course the old ubiquitous swamp gas that shows up at seemingly every UFO scene. Okay, so swamp gas wasn't in the official account, but you get the point. On that night, many thousands of people witnessed this battle in the air above Los Angeles, with both incoming and outgoing fire just like any other battle you may have seen. Officially, this is accounted for by the United States Coast Artillery Association having misidentified a meteorological balloon sent up at 1 a.m. that started all the shooting, and then concluded that once the firing started, imagination created all kinds of targets in the sky and everyone joined in the firing and shooting. In 1983, the U.S. Office of Air Force History attributed the event to a case of war nerves, triggered by a lost weather balloon and exacerbated by stray flares and shell bursts from adjoining batteries. Air raid sirens sounded throughout Los Angeles County throughout the night of the 24th into the morning of the 25th. A total blackout was ordered for Los Angeles County, and air raid wardens were summoned to their positions. At 3:16 a.m., the 37th Coastal Artillery Brigade began firing 50 caliber machine guns and 12.8-pound anti-aircraft shells into the air at the reported aircraft. Over 1,400 of these shells would eventually be fired. Pilots of the 4th Interceptor Command were alerted, but their aircraft remained grounded. The artillery fire continued sporadically and the all-clear was sounded, and the blackout order was finally lifted at 7:21 a.m. The result was several buildings and vehicles being damaged by shell fragments, with 5 civilians dead as an indirect result of anti-aircraft fire, 3 killed in car accidents in the ensuing chaos, and 2 heart attacks attributed to the stress of the hours-long battle. The incident was front-page news along the U.S. Pacific coast and earned some mass media coverage throughout the nation and the world. The event was even important enough for the War Department's Chief of Staff to write the following memorandum to the President. Memorandum to the President. The following is the information we have from GHQ at this moment regarding the air alarms over Los Angeles of yesterday morning. From details available at this hour. Number 1. Unidentified airplanes other than American Army or Navy planes were probably over Los Angeles and were fired on by elements of the 37th Coastal Air Defense Brigade between 3:12 and 4:15 a.m. These units expended 1,430 rounds of ammunition. Number 2. As many as 15 airplanes may have been involved, flying at various speeds from what is officially reported as being very slow to as much as 200 miles per hour and at elevations from 9,000 to 18,000 feet. Number 3. No bombs were dropped. Number 4. No casualties among our troops. Number 5. No planes were shot down. Number 6. No American Army or Navy planes were in action. Investigation continuing. It seems reasonable to conclude that if unidentified airplanes were involved, they may have been from commercial sources operated by enemy agents for purposes of spreading alarm, disclosing location of anti-aircraft position, and slowing production through blackout. Such conclusion is supported by varying speed of operation and the fact that no bombs were dropped. This is marked as classified, and it is signed by the Chief of Staff. Notice how the memorandum to the President mentions up to 15 aircraft being involved, yet the official story says that none were involved, only weather balloons. And this incident is far from the only one of its kind. There have been countless other mass sightings of battles in the sky, UFOs cited by some of the most credible folks in society like police, politicians, pilots, and astronauts. So armed with these facts, what do you think really happened on that winter night in 1942? Was it just a case of war jitters, as claimed by the military and the government? Or perhaps there was a little more to it than they would like us to believe? I'd love to hear what you have to say about this in the comment section. Let us know what you believe happened, and why there may be differences between the actual story and the official account. As always, thank you for watching, and we'll see you soon with another video.